So guys, this is our trailer and gameplay footage reaction for The Lord of the Rings Gollum, along with our thoughts about the controversy around this game, especially in regards to the numerous delays over the past couple of years and the graphics shown in the trailers released so far. In terms of what we know about the game so far, well, it's an upcoming action-adventure game developed by Daedalic Entertainment and co-published by Daedalic and Nacon. It's based on the works of J.R.R. Tolkien, following the character of Gollum, set between the events of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. The game was announced by Daedalic in March 2019, originally with a planned release for 2021. The game was then delayed to 2022. In May 2022, it was announced that the developers were targeting a release date of September that year for the Steam version, PlayStation and Xbox versions, with the Nintendo Switch version due for November. Then in July 2022, the developers announced a further delay of, and I quote, a few months. We're recording this video in January 2023 and there's still no sign of release. Not looking good, to be honest. Will these numerous delays allow further time for improvement in the eventual release of a great game? Or is it destined to end up in the fiery depths of Mount Doom and become vaporware only to be referenced in memes?
What is it, precious?
Joining me to discuss the game, as always, is my brother Dav. So Dav, what are your initial thoughts on this one?
Well, my thoughts on the teaser trailer, it doesn't really give away much at all, and so it's difficult to form any significant opinion from this one, as it's only 1 minute of cinematics and is of course designed as a teaser. The trailer does have a Lord of the Rings air about it, and cinematics look nice, but then once I clapped my eyes on the look and animation of Gollum, it just immediately broke any immersion for me, sadly.
Yeah, that official teaser trailer from 2020 is brief, but sets the scene well with its cinematics and ominous sounding music. It starts well, but once we get a decent look at Gollum, yeah, I almost laughed at the way they've modelled him. The character model really looks out of place with the rest of the trailer. I don't know what they were thinking, to be honest. They should have just made him look in the movies, as you can't really go wrong with that style. Other than a brief look out over Mount Doom, the trailer really doesn't show us much else, which is kind of to be expected with a teaser trailer like this. So in terms of thoughts on the reveal trailer, well, similar to the teaser trailer, this one goes well until we get a decent look at the character model for Gollum, at which point I couldn't help shaking my head. It just looks so bloody derpy and stupid, and I really wonder who signed this off. The voice acting sounds okay, but it's hard not to compare it to Andy Serkis's performance in the movies, as he did such a good job. It's a shame they couldn't have got him to voice it instead of someone who's clearly trying to sound like him.
Nasty, filthy oxes! Kill them! No, we must hide! We can't let them get their nasty, filthy hands on our flesh!
Certainly seems like a unique take on the franchise, as none of the previous games have focused on Gollum so much as this. It will be interesting to see who else pops up in the game as well.
So with my thoughts on the reveal trailer, as with the teaser trailer, this doesn't really give away very much. As this is labelled as a reveal trailer, I think it should have provided more of an insight into the type of game this is going to be, really. Otherwise, what's this trailer actually revealing? More cinematics, which we've already seen in the teaser trailer, and a bit of voice acting. As Dale's pointed out, Gollum doesn't really look right in these visuals. It's hard to put my finger on exactly what it is that isn't right about him, but it's definitely something not right. The voice acting isn't too bad here in my opinion. Certainly no Andy Serkis though.
Nasty, filthy oxes!
So in terms of my thoughts on the gameplay footage, it kind of feels like these trailers went from bad to worse. The more of the game that's revealed, the more it looks and feels less and less like a Lord of the Rings game, and any immersion and excitement that I had watching the teaser trailer is now a distant memory. The stealth style gameplay that's shown is very limited and interspersed with more cinematics, which is concerning, really.
Yeah, the voice acting and graphics appear even worse in the gameplay trailer. Graphics are truly horrible in my opinion, and they wouldn't look out of place in the mid-2000s. There's some brief stealth gameplay shown and Gollum scaling various structures, but the fact it's only a minute and a half is concerning, as this is incredibly short for a gameplay trailer. It seems like they're just not confident showing off any real in-game footage. Let's just hope this is a very early build of the game, and we'll have to see how it looks on release. So in terms of thoughts on graphics and environment, I mean, I really don't like the look of the graphics shown so far. Everything looks incredibly dated, which I'm really confused and concerned about. I know they're planning to release on the Nintendo Switch, but did they forget about upscaling the graphics for the PC and consoles or something? Gameplay footage shows a lot of low resolution textures of the actual gameplay interspersed with scenes from the other trailers, and it just seems a real mess. Very concerning, as this gameplay footage is only from around 6 months ago in mid-2022.
So the graphics don't look good in the gameplay shown by the trailers so far, as Dale Dale's pointed out. I guess on the upside, any potato owners out there would be happy as they'll be able to run it. Joking aside though, the cinematics from the first two trailers give an impression of what looked to be a very Tolkien-looking fantasy environment, and gave the feeling that we could be getting a Tolkien-inspired environment in up-to-date gaming graphics and attention to detail. But the gameplay graphics in this trailer just throw that feeling I had straight out of the window. In the past, we tended to get games that sometimes had amazing trailers and then gameplay graphics were nothing like the trailer portrayed, but this was accepted back then. Nowadays, game development engines have moved on immensely, and we're getting more and more used to the divide between trailer cinematics and gameplay graphics being lessened, especially in AAA games, with some games impressively blending the two so a difference is hardly noticeable. This helps retain any immersion gained from watching the cinematic and takes that directly into the gameplay. This game, however, feels like it's gone backwards 10 to 15 years, and there is a chasm-sized gap between the modern-looking cinematic shown and the dated-looking gameplay graphics. So in terms of my thoughts on the story, I think the way the developers take the story of this one could really make or break not only this game but the future of Lord of the Rings games. Not much have been revealed about the story to the date of this preview, so we can only make assumptions at this point. I'm concerned that they will likely need to embellish the story a lot in this game, as the backstory of Gollum is somewhat untold, as they put it. If any added narrative is not knitted well into the fabric that is Tolkien lore, then this could really be a disaster. I think they really need to tread carefully here.
Yeah, we really don't have much info on the story yet, and the trailer only really reveals that Gollum seems to be somewhere in Mordor, presumably looking for the ring after he lost it to Bilbo in The Hobbit. There's a few orcs in the second trailer, and this could be in Mordor, or I guess somewhere else, maybe the Mines of Moria. There seems to be a split personality theme going on, and it would be interesting to see if there's much choice in how this plays out, and whether we get to choose more of the Gollum personality or the Smeagol personality. It is a little concerning that the second trailer says the untold story as the tagline, as this comes across to me that they intend to embellish stuff or just straight up make up parts of the story. The info from the developer is fairly limited so far as well. They've only released the following excerpt. Take on a perilous journey as Gollum, chasing the only thing that is precious to him. From his time as a slave below the Dark Tower to his stay with the Elves of Mirkwood, climb, leap and sneak your way past dangers. Skillful and sly, Gollum is also torn by his split personality. It's up to you to decide whether the darker side of Gollum takes over, or if there's a spark of reason left in what was once Smeagol. Other than that, there's limited info on the story at the moment, so not really much to add here. So in terms of our thoughts on the mechanics, well, it seems from the info and trailers so far there will be some stealth elements to the game, which makes sense as Gollum isn't exactly much of a fighter, and it might be a bit weird for him to be running around in full armor with a crossbow or something. There would hopefully be some upgrades to the health and abilities and a skill tree to keep it interesting though.
So I imagine that this is going to be largely stealth in its gameplay mechanics. As Dale's pointed out, it would seem out of place to have him kitted up in armor. I'm imagining, as the trailer kind of hints at, there will likely be objects that you can take out enemies with, such as molten lava that he pours over the orcs in the reveal trailer, and hopefully some inventive ways of silently taking out enemies. Let's have some good old-fashioned stealth mechanics, please, developers. None of the stupid X-ray vision, see round corners and all that bullshit that tends to find its way into modern stealth games. That would totally ruin a game based around such an epic fantasy novel.
So in terms of final thoughts, I'm really not sure on this one, unfortunately. They really have to be careful not to mess up the franchise here, as there are a lot of dedicated Tolkien fans. Clearly, from the controversy around the Rings of Power series, people are passionate about his work. I include myself in that, and I'm certainly concerned about the outcome of this game and how it might affect other licensed games in the future. It really is quite concerning to see the state of this after several years in development, and they're really going to have to put some time in to turn this around. I hate to say, but I'd rather they didn't release the game anytime soon and perhaps just go back to the drawing board with this one. There is so much lore to choose from in the Lord of the Rings franchise, and I'm not confident this is going to benefit it at all. Let's hope I'm wrong though, and it exceeds all expectations if and when it finally releases.
So for me, on final thoughts, as a big Tolkien fan, it loathes me to say, but I really don't have much hope for this game actually portraying an enjoyable, immersive Lord of the Rings gaming experience. It just doesn't fill me with the joy and anticipation watching the trailers and the gameplay footage, and it should, especially as a Tolkien fan. Instead, I wince every time I see Gollum's character, and there's nothing in the footage that actually excites me or brings me back around in any way. Just look at the comments section of any of the trailers to see others largely feel the same. I think if a developer is to salvage this project, they need to release a trailer that wins everyone around and put some serious time into improving the bad points of this game before it releases. If they leave it as it is and release it, it will likely be a flop. If they don't release any more trailers and keep delaying the game, gamers will just begin to get suspicious about the quality of the development and then gradually forget about the game, so that when it eventually does release, it will flop. I do hope they listen to fans and pull this one around, but only time will tell.
Well guys, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment. Hit that bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video, and we'll see you in the next one.